I'm gone for 1 week.
I was like, hold on, why are we not on the screen?
No. Oh, that was
Oh.
embarrassing. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Got Something For Ya. We are talking about episode 6 of Survivor 47. Great to see all of you. Minnow, welcome back to the chat. Minnow, I had so much fun meeting you 2 weeks ago at this point. I forgot. As soon as I was done talking to you at the RHAP event, I totally forgot that I wasn't going to be here this next week. So it's great to see you, Minnow. Yes, Ollie is here as well. Phil cannot be here today. We're going to see Phil next week as well. Minnow, it was nice to meet you. For those of you who don't know, we were at a Survivor watch party. Hey, Amy, good to see you. And I was meeting Rome. I was meeting Gabe. I met pretty much the entire cast. John wasn't there, but I met pretty much the entire cast. And then I met Minnow, and I was starstruck. So Minnow, it was great to see you. Ollie, it's good to see you. Haven't seen you in a week. I popped in the chat last week.
You did. It was like what I did for the first 2 weeks. I was like,
yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Did you enjoy this episode?
Yeah, this episode was really good. I was really worried because obviously it's like Mergatory, and I feel like in the last few seasons it's got ever so slightly stale. So
yeah.
This Mergatory, I was I was pleased with it. I think there was a couple of nice changes that I think just made it refreshing.
Yeah, they did a couple of slight edits that I was like, oh, okay. Yes. It was very refreshing. And it was just enough of a change that I feel like it made sense. So, I mean, why don't we just get right into the episode? That's what we're all here to talk about. But we have Rachel, who we always get this, right? It's like the last person who gets blindsided before Mergatory always has that confessional where they're like, oh, what I really need right now is the merge. And then guess what? That's what she gets. She gets the merge.
I was so happy that it was. And I was also just hoping that this wasn't going to be like a Mariah curse for her. But just going back onto the aftermath of Tribal, I just want to mention, because we saw them all talking and then we saw Andy take kind of Rachel away. I just want to give my props to Sierra, because I think Sierra did do a very good job of damage control in this situation. Like, I feel like she was very upfront, and she was able to listen to Rachel. And I feel like a lot of people forget this when it comes to damage control, because if you're just trying to do like your bit, if you're just trying to save yourself, that's great. But if you're not listening to the other person, then it's like you're all doing it for nothing. So the fact that she was able to listen to Rachel, as opposed to someone like, no shade, Andy, who I thought was a little bit cocky during this segment, I just wanted to give Sierra her props there. So
she did do a really good job. And I think it's also important. I've seen versions of this conversation where it's like the person kind of blames the person who's left out of the vote for why they left them out of the vote. Like, obviously, let's just face it, they could not tell Rachel the plan. I always love, as much as you're supposed to say, like, guys, why didn't anyone tell me the plan? Like, I would have been in on it. Like, I don't think Rachel would have been in on it. But you're right, Sierra really was like, in Rachel's eyes, I definitely betrayed her trust. So I have to hear her out about this. Let's see. Minnow says Andy King, but also definitely not thinking about how he should be placating Rachel. Yeah. And honestly, I keep replaying Andy's voting confessional that we're going to talk about later on from this episode, but it was pretty great.
It was.
And yeah, so honestly, props to Sierra. I had a great conversation with Sierra at the event. First of all, this entire cast was so incredibly nice. If you had the opportunity to meet any of them, do it. I highly recommend. But Sierra, we had a great conversation, which I really appreciated.
That's good.
But they all get the boat. I like how, was it Gata who the boat was like coming towards them, and they're like, oh, I don't think it's coming to us.
It's not anything.
It's not anything. But they all get told they're gonna meet at Tuku.
Mm. I was really excited because I feel like this is a very interesting like merged group because I think you had some people that we didn't expect and then people that we also didn't expect how their personalities would be. So it was very exciting. And I also like what they did, what production did to start off this merge. It's like, great, everyone's happy, everyone's like getting to know each other. But there's a little advantage out there. What did you think about this?
Boom. I was like, here we go. This was great. It's funny. I know that production always wants that like cutaway to commercial shot, which in this case was everyone dispersing and running
Yeah.
towards. I found it funny though that I think the only two people who didn't immediately go running after it were Rome and Caroline. I think that they
Yes.
kind of stayed put. But I thought that this was great. You know, like I think
Yeah.
everyone this is the right time for an advantage in a challenge. And the hiding spot was interesting to me.
I liked the
You
hiding
like the hiding
spot. I think
spot?
yeah, because I think like it people assumed because of where the what I think they also did that was really smart is where they placed that little plaque. Because they
Yeah,
look at it and you think everyone's like go and everyone's like, oh, forest. And
that's
it's
true.
like, yeah, I think everyone just assumed like it's gonna be somewhere here. Like I truly don't think anyone thought, let's go to the water. I think maybe Kyle, I think there was a shot of Kyle doing it. But I feel like I would have looked to see where everyone's going and then been like, right, let me do this. So then that way I've had a look at somewhere else.
You know what? And I agree with Eleanor on this. This reminded me that it could have, it could have come down to
Yeah.
two people swimming after it, which is kind of like it would have replicated what we saw earlier in the season with TK and Asia, where
Yeah.
they had to get the buoy from the water. So I get it. And also,
Two
here's the thing.
buoys.
TK and Asia aren't there anymore. If they
Nope.
had been in the game, they would have recognized that the buoy was something,
Mm.
unlike Sam, who was like, they're all over the place. They're just floating.
They're there. I wanted to sit there and be like, where? Please show
Yeah.
us. Because I think the only time I've seen a buoy on Survivor was when it was DK and Asia. I was
Or like
like,
when there are buoys involved in challenges. Like that is
yeah.
not there's no lifeguards at this beach, Sam. Like there's no reason for this buoy to be
Unless there's
there.
some tea that we need to know that I would love someone to tell us if there are buoys. But no, this I found hilarious. But I appreciate that one of them, at least, was like, no, I need to go check this. And again, I keep seeing this on Twitter. She is not beating the poverty allegations.
Oh yeah.
She knew. Well done, Genevieve. I I will admit something that I've been trying not to admit since the draft. She was my third pick of who I wanted to pick.
Oh, but you couldn't because you were
No. And because they picked her before me.
I mean,
But I didn't want to give them that credit.
Genevieve was awesome. She was at the event also, and I was like, I really want to say hi to her, but I didn't get the chance to. And I'm with Amy and Eleanor here. Like, I was really surprised that they didn't test it. However, I appreciate what Genevieve did. If Sam's right there and Sam says, "No, we don't have to go after that," whatever. Why, if I was Genevieve, I would do exactly what she did. Don't
Yep.
keep saying, "No, we got to go check it." Just turn. You're right, Sam. Let's wait. And this way, she got it by herself. I mean, she does end up sharing it with the group that she finds it, but like when it comes to other type of advantages in the game, I think she did a very smart move here.
Yeah. I mean, this is one that everyone knows. Like, this is only going to help her in the challenge. So it's like, there's no point in her not sharing it. But I agree with you. I think the way that she kind of let Sam be like, okay, no, yeah, no, it's nothing, go, 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 because she wants to make sure she's the only one there going for it. I get it. I wouldn't want to have a race.
It was funny that she was like so bothered by the fact that she had to go into the water, she had to explore the buoy. Oh, she got the advantage.
It was the water. She's like, "Oh, I'm going to be so mad if I
Yeah.
get wet." Now we understand why she sat out of that swimming challenge. She didn't want to swim.
She didn't want to swim. She didn't want to get wet. Which is funny because it's like what we find out about the challenge, it's like, well, you're either going to get wet and dry off, or you're going to get drenched in mud. So if I had to pick between
Yeah.
the two, I'm going for the light swim.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And
No.
she does tell everyone about, look at everyone. They all made
No.
it. This is a very sweet photo to me. Ollie, we didn't talk about Sue. We didn't talk about how when everyone was on their way to Tuku, Sue was like, oh no, I need to finish cleaning up my crime, which this was funny to me because I was like, oh, she needed to rinse off her idol. But I was like, why didn't you do this? Were you not worried that anyone else that you were with on the beach was going to find out? Like, why were you waiting till now?
Yeah, like why did it take you this long to do this? And I'm not gonna lie, I agree with Eleanor's comment. Oh, Sue.
We don't have a photo of it, unfortunately, but she's basically just rinsing off her idol. She's rinsing off
Yeah.
as let me just say, I did not realize how easy it was going to be for them to find all of the
Well, this
clues.
is so I remember like 2 episodes or however many episodes ago it was where I was like, she did a really good job at hiding it.
Yeah, me too.
And then I clocked, I was like, actually, no, she really, really didn't.
But I was like, how did it take for the other tribes to make it onto the beach for them to people who have not been there before to realize that something was off?
Yeah. And I mean, it's the fact that no one, even Sue, didn't clock the red paint on like the tree, on the leaves. I was like, oh no. Yeah, this definitely for me was and I feel really bad because I feel like loads of people love Sue. But I do think this was marks against her in terms of like even though no one clocked her, I was still like, oh, come on now.
One person clocked her, and that was her ally, Caroline. This was an adorable confessional to me. I love this.
This was, but also it actually kind of showed how perceptive and actually smart Caroline was. And I think a lot of people didn't realize that. Obviously, last episode, I mentioned that how I can see that she is starting to get into this really good spot in the game. Sorry. And I think this moment kind of helps that because it's like, oh, she's been able to be observant and put the dots together and go, oh, okay. And the fact that she's not going to tell anyone proves her loyalty. She can sit there and be like, I figured it out straight away. And I kept my loyalties to Sue and let her know that I figured it out, but I'm not going to tell anyone.
I know, and I think Sue made a misstep in when Caroline told her that she knew about it. I think she tried to deny it, and which is not, I don't think is the best thing to do. I know you're scared,
Yeah.
and I know you're scared. I know that you feel like you're found out, and plus Sue has been keeping it from Caroline. But like when your ally is being like, hey, you found it, I think you got to say yes. And yeah. Amy says, was it when they were looking for the advantage that they found Sue's idol stuff?
Possibly.
Yes, it was. And what was interesting to me, where I was like, Sue, you need to find that advantage so that you can say, oh, it was in the pot. Like that was the most important thing to me.
Yeah.
Because once Genevieve found it and people asked her, they were like, oh, did it have to do with the pot? She was like, no. And they were like, oh, so
Okay.
the pot had nothing to do with the advantage.
Yeah.
Which is red flag.
And I think Minos has just let us know. So did the fun maths because we don't want to. Sue found the idol on day 8, and this is day 11. She had it for 4 days.
Okay.
No to everyone else for not clocking it. Well, I say that
it's like
someone had a red flag.
Shame on Sue for not getting rid of that evidence sooner, but then also shame on all of her tribe mates that didn't pick up on this stuff.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Wow. Thank you for that, Minnow. That is insane. Love it though. And I did like the segment because I like when there is a story arc. Like all you remember from Australian Survivor, the cookie idol, how made its way through every episode. Like I like that something that happened earlier in the season comes back in this episode. It makes it with worth watching. Amy loves Minnow facts. I agree. Minnow, We appreciate you. We appreciate all of you for joining, and thank you. We love reading all. You're like our co-host. Everyone who contributes to the chat, we really like bouncing ideas off of all of you. So thank you very much. Okay, so Tiana also is like, I remember when. Is that the next slide? Yeah.
Yes.
Tiana's like, I remember when Sue told us that she fell and she hit herself with a machete and she bit her tongue and all the stuff. And
I think this was a very important part because I remember Tiana having like her big red flag, and obviously like the thing after this is Sue being like, I can't trust Tiana because she's a flip-flopper. I firstly want to say I disagree with this because the only person flip-flopping is your closest ally, Gabe. But I think the fact that if Tiana's kind of clocked on it, and I think I do generally think Caroline would let Sue know. I do think if Sue decides to try and lie to Tiana, and Tiana is kind of making it obvious, like I'm connecting the dots, like don't, and she still does. I do think that's a detriment to Sue. So I hope she kind of figures out how to sort this with Tiana, because I do think it's going to make her look bad, and I think it's going to make her waste her idol if not.
it's a very strange perspective to me that like Sue got Tiana to flip to her for what vote was that? For the TK vote.
Yeah.
So like it's like you get someone to flip for you and now you're nervous, like you're nervous because you think that they're gonna flip, which okay, but you ask them to flip. So
Yeah.
to me it's like I also think that Tiana, and it's easier for us to see this, but I think it was partly an emotional play, the TK vote.
Yeah.
So I think it would benefit Sue to recognize the circumstance of why that vote happened and why Tiana did flip in that moment, and use that to her advantage when working with Tiana. I agree. I think it's too early to say. I think you can be skeptical and suspicious, but I think it's too early to say I just don't trust her.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And I think if we go to the next slide, it is just of Sue.
Oh yeah. I'm in trouble.
I'm in trouble. And I think it's true. I'm not gonna lie. I think she realizes that, she could get caught out. And I think if she's able to, like I said earlier, if she's able to do that damage control or mitigate the blowback from that, then she'll be in a great position. But I think I know everyone loves Sue, and I don't want this to look like I'm bashing Sue or not a Sue fan, but I do think Sue is not looking at the bigger picture. And because it was like last episode, she was very much, oh, if anyone says anything about Gabe, it's done. And I'm like, if you're going to do that, then it's like every single person that may say something, even if it's not as bad as what Tiana supposedly said, you're going to pigeonhole yourself in the game, and then that's what's going to hurt your game. We've seen it so many times with people. So I hope she can broaden her horizons.
Yeah, I mean that's what we're really talking about. It's just tunnel vision within the game of Survivor itself. Yeah. It would be funny to imagine that someone is just like behind the shelter, just like overhearing her talk to herself. But I am a Sue fan. So I hope whatever plan that she has outlined for herself works for her game. Right? Because it's easy for us to say she's being too tunnel vision, but at the end of the day, we don't know what else we're not seeing from within the edit. And yeah, she did say she thought Gabe was her number one. So cool.
Caroline's just sat there like, okay.
So while we get this like intertribe mingling, we have this is a flashback sequence where basically Rome is outlining how he got Kyle to open up to him and share Kyle's opinions about his tribe mates that Rome was going to use to his advantage.
Hmm.
Can you remind me, Ollie, what exactly Kyle said? Do you have it on note?
Yep.
Like, about Caroline and Sue, and then about
Yep.
who else did he talk about?
He talked about Sam and Tiana. Because we all know I love my Rome, but I will fact check him when I need to. So Kyle did say that he felt that Sam was the biggest threat. Kyle said that he did think that Caroline had been slightly weak sometimes in challenges. And he mentioned that Sue and Caroline had a mother-daughter style relationship.
Which he admitted to.
Yes. Now, what Rome said was, and what he told everyone else, is that Kyle said that Tiana was a massive threat and that Caroline and Sue were this absolute tight duo that can't be shaken, and that Caroline is super, 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 super weak in challenges.
I like Minnow's note here, which is the disadvantage.
Yeah.
Listen. I appreciate it. I get the gameplay. I just
Yeah.
think it was a little too quick and a
Yeah.
little too widespread. And I think that's where I think it was okay. It was eager in the way where
Yes.
you know how I feel, Ollie. You know how I feel about painting a target on someone before an immunity challenge.
Yep.
As we see here, it doesn't work to Rome's advantage. But I think the idea is a good one. I just think
Yes.
overplayed the tools.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I understand what he wanted to do. The idea, great, because you want someone to have like you want people to have eyes on someone else other than you. It's just unfortunate that he's Rome, and
He has a
unfortunately,
reputation.
yeah, he has a reputation that his old tribe mates will happily let people know about, because they're in this situation now where they're like, I've got a load more options. And I think, again, similar to Sue, Rome did get a little bit tunnel visioned. And I think the execution wasn't done correctly. Again, I'm not an ex-player. I can't, like, I'm just saying from my perspective. But was it entertaining?
Very.
Yes. Could it have been done better? Yes.
Right. Because listen, we got the edit of the Sue versus Kyle dynamic where Sue was like, Kyle wrote my name down. I'm gonna remember that. And I'm gonna see. So I thought when Rome was doing this, I was like, okay, all right, you're gonna flame that, like very much like what Andy did with Annika and Sam.
Yep.
Like I felt like, okay, yeah, flame that fire. Like that's a really great idea. Keep that rivalry going. But unfortunately, they all fact checked, and they, I think Kyle was honest enough where it mattered. And
Yeah.
I think he gained back. Obviously, he gained back their trust. Like he wasn't,
Yeah.
targeted by anyone else. But I have a question for you, and a question for everyone in the chat. Did you all think? Because Survivor likes to do this, where they plant a name to the viewers early, and then it ends up not being that person later on. Did you all think that was the case here? Like when Rome's name started getting thrown around quite a bit, did you feel like, oh, this is just the editors playing the trick on us?
No. Fully. No.
You thought it was his time?
No. I generally, yeah, because, and just looking back at this, I think what could have worked.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
What I think really could have benefited Rome here is all he had to maybe have done was tell Sue the part about him, her, and Caroline. Didn't have to go to Sam yet. Didn't have to go to Tiana yet. If he
Yeah.
just mentioned one thing, because I feel like what he did, unfortunately, was tell everyone everything. And I think that's why, like, the only reason I saw this and was like, this is his demise, is because he let Sam know, he let Tiana know, he let Sue know, like, he just let everything spill. And it's like, you've given everyone the ammo now to fact check during this time where before the immunity challenge, there is going to be a bit more talking and it's not going to be a scramble. Whereas, had you done it maybe during the scramble, if Kyle was immune, then it could have been more beneficial. And plus, if we then saw if Kyle stayed and won immunity and was safe, he could have held on to it until the time was right. But that's just my opinion.
I also wonder, like, what if Rome did it in a situation where he grouped everyone that Kyle and him talked about together and said, like, this was the discussion we had. Like, you know, I'm just saying, like, he's coming after all of you. Like, I feel like he like there was an opportunity to sort of build something, but like you said, he went to everyone individually. I agree with you on the why go to Sam right now. And again, even if this stuff was word for word true, the action of going to everyone individually and then them obviously checking with each other, it becomes very clear. Okay, so Rome told you this. All right, Rome told you that. Rome told me this. Clearly, he's trying to paint a target on Kyle. Whoa, Minnow, that's a really good call out that the lens changed for the merge confessionals. Good eye. That's awesome. And yeah. Eleanor, I too am going to go back and see if I can notice the difference. That's incredible. So
Eleanor, let me know. Just let me know. I'm not going to.
Yeah, Ollie's like on to the next episode. Speaking of on to the next, we have a new version of the Mergatory Challenge, which I very much appreciated.
Same.
So the main difference here is that, yes, they are still breaking into two different teams. However, one team is going to win a meal and the ability to play for individual immunity.
Yes.
Interesting change. I also kind of felt like, well, why don't we just do an individual challenge and note that the last six people would win the food reward, but they were like, we have this obstacle course, so we're going to do it.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think they still wanted to do, like, I think they still wanted to do the obstacle and have this mandatory thing, but I think for once they were listening to the viewers that were like, this is getting old. And I kind of appreciated it because it is that thing of like, not only have these people been able to get some food and some substance, but they have the chance to play, like they have the chance to be safe. Whereas these people now have not got anything. They are now going to be even more demoralized because they've not got food. They haven't got the chance to win immunity. So I feel like mentally and emotionally, that's going to affect them a little bit more potentially. I think that's where they were coming from.
Absolutely. And I think they made the right call. You know, like I do think it ended up working. I think the meal part is the important factor. Like if you're on the winning team, you win the meal.
Yep.
Eleanor, I am with you. I am so upset. I am so upset by this.
I can tell you if you want.
The captains?
Yeah.
Okay.
They did the deleted. It was in the deleted scenes.
Oh, I didn't see that. But it's like, why even keep that in the edit if you're not going to show the schoolyard pick?
Yeah, that did annoy me. That will be. That's the thing, and I think that is resident. Like that's every lie. I know everyone.
Yeah.
Well, Eleanor, I would tell you, but you're not going to tell me the difference between the cameras, so I'm not doing it. No, I'm joking.
Minnow says it was Tiana and Teeny.
Yes, Tiana and Teeny were the captains. And actually, in this deleted scene that we don't have a photo for, if I can just speak on it for a moment, it was quite funny because so basically they each pick, and it's the schoolyard pick of then the next person will pick the next person, and so on and so forth. So they got to the last two people, and it was Sue and Andy, and Sierra has to pick. And for some bizarre reason, Jeff decides to ask Andy how it feels. And Andy's there going, oh, it feels like middle school again. Da, 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 da. Like this woe is me type thing. Sierra goes and picks Sue straight after it. Like without any hesitation, Jeff goes, and who? So Sierra, you have this decision now. Like, who are you going to pick? And she just goes, Sue.
Okay. I'm kind of glad they cut it because I think that would have not filled up the time wisely, but they should have cut Jeff saying that it was a schoolyard pick
Yeah.
altogether, and then maybe thrown in all of it in the deleted scenes.
Yeah.
By the way,
agreed.
Eleanor, I think they're on YouTube.
Yeah.
I think CBS Survivor uploads them.
YouTube, or there is an Instagram called All Winner Survivor. I notice a lot of deleted scenes there. So All Winner Survivor.
Yeah, there you go. And Genevieve gets which is a great advantage, which is basically you don't have to do the first part of the challenge.
Yep.
You're fine. You can go straight to the immunity part, which I think is it's like not really it's like a what's it called? Skip a turn type of thing.
It was kind of almost like my brain goes to Survivor Philippines when Abby gets her little thing and she can just go straight to the final part.
Oh yeah. She's at the final stage of the obstacle course.
Yeah, I thought that was a great advantage. I feel like if none of them are now kicking themselves going, oh, I wish I'd found that advantage, like I would be there kicking myself being like, oh, I should have just tried. Because that is a really good advantage, especially because we saw during the challenge how that the mud was affecting people. So
oh, that mud seemed different than the mud that they usually use in the first challenge. That was I would not want to go swimming in that stuff. So and then they had to like cover themselves in those wood chips or whatever those were. And yeah, I mean the advantage was great. I do kind of see the strengths from production. This is the time where production's like, we got an odd number, like we got to merge now, but we got an odd number. How do we get someone to the thing? So it worked. It did its purpose, and good job for Genevieve. I love how did Jeff say when Genevieve fell out of the final challenge? This stuff. Did Jeff say squandered the advantage? I was like, I mean, did it really squander or just?
I mean, this challenge is hard. I literally put in my notes, I'd hate to do this challenge. And we all know I love most of the challenges.
This one, the balance one, I feel like you'd be good at it.
I know, but it's that thing.
Oh.
Balance? Be there all day.
With Sue as a pilot, I was like, Sue's going far in this. And Sue did. And I think it was also a really nice like storytelling point because it had come up earlier in the episode, the idea of Sue being weak in challenges. So it was really cool to see Sue get very close. And also, the relationship she has with Kyle, it was kind of cool.
Yeah, it was. I like the challenge. I would not like it for myself. But no, I think Sue did a really great job. And even though like Jeff obviously did say like Genevieve squandered this, I more so just think I'm trying to say this not sounding mean to Jeff because it's not being mean to Jeff.
Read him.
Okay. Read him. Well, let's start from top. No.
Season 1.
Season 1. No, I think he kind of just like, I think when he said that, I was just a bit like, so you think that no matter what, whoever did that, like, they were going to be able to do it? Like, I understand the fatigue part, but if you have someone like, this is no Reed Soul, who is a big guy, I know something like this he may struggle with because of how like muscular he is on the top, he's going to have to try and balance that. And that's going to be hard. So he's trying to balance all this with that. I think like there are so many people that potentially could have struggled with this, and it could have been because of the balance, or it could have been because this element is tricky to figure out. So, Jeff, shut up.
Oh no, I didn't mean for it to go. Listen, I think Jeff does have to tie the advantage back into Genevieve's storyline for the challenge. So like, it is what it is. I don't think I would have called it that because I feel like squandering I would call if someone was given like Abby Maria in Philippines. She got to be further along in the challenge. So did Natalie in Winners at War, got to be further on in the challenge. I feel like if you let people pass you, then that's squandering the advantage.
Yeah.
But that's not what happened. But sorry, tangent. Anyway,
Sorry.
then Kyle wins immunity. What do you think of the necklace?
I like the necklace.
I do too.
I've heard some people, my partner, not be a fan of the necklace. I like the necklace. I think it's quite cool. I think because we've always had just this way of how it's normally meant to look, I like this kind of twist to it personally. I don't mind it.
It's well themed.
Yeah.
I think it sticks to the theme. And Eleanor, tell us your thoughts on it.
Tell us how you really feel.
Happy to have that conversation. I can see it's, I personally, I like, it's not one that I would like to wear out of all of the ones we've seen, but from like sitting on the couch, I'm like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Also, to this comment from Eleanor, I hope you haven't watched. Yeah, I was about to say, if you watched UK Survivor, if you didn't like this, Survivor UK's individual immunity. No.
This
is or the idol.
This is museum level prop compared. The immunity log is what we like to call it.
Shout out Nigel.
Sir
Kingsley.
Y'all, you don't have to watch Survivor UK. Well, you should, but you don't have to watch it to just go see an image. Please go search an image of their immunity idols. Love it for all the wrong reasons. So with this, Kyle wins immunity. Good for Kyle, but that's Rome's target. So why don't we take a very quick break and then we will talk about Rome's demise. What trailer do I want to? There we go.
Think you're the most knowledgeable Survivor superfan? Well, you can put that to the test with our Fantasy Survivor game. Welcome to Bracketology, fantasy sports for reality TV. We provide fantasy football style games for your favorite shows like Survivor and many more. We also have bracket style elimination challenges. Set your picks once for the whole season to see how your prediction skills fared. And don't forget to check out the season extras like contestant info, where you can see all the bios of each contestant, and our scoring recaps that are published each episode. Download the Bracketology mobile app or play on your computer at fantasy.bracketology.tv. It's entirely free to play, and you can win some awesome prizes. Good luck.
Oh, no.
I love him. I do. I'm gonna miss him.
I'm joking. Yeah, this was. I have mixed feelings about this, if I'm completely honest.
Wait, real quick, Minnow, are you talking about the immunity necklace? Because
I really hope you're looking at Survivor UK's one.
Yeah. That's what it is.
Gotta be that.
Thank you, Eleanor. Thank you, because again, great TV, and I think when we think back to, it's very interesting that he was the last person to be voted out pre-merge, because pre-jury, I should say, because so much of the story of these past episodes were Rome. He was very prominent character. He's a person, but character in the edit of the show. But the editors knew what they were doing, and I wonder, Rome, if you're watching this, I do wonder, did you know there was a possibility of being blindsided? Because I know you were very confident in your confessionals of what was going to happen, but I do wonder if you were just like, I'm just gonna go with it, and what happens in terms of the edit, because they made the most out of Rome's confessionals here.
Oh, they really did. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not gonna knock Rome for trying to get someone out. I think
that's the game.
Yeah, that's the game. However, I'm gonna say your full name, Jerome. You really sat there and said that Sol was mean to you.
But did you see Caroline's face when?
Yes, and I felt bad for Caroline. I love Rome.
That might be one of my favorite character shots was Caroline reacting to Rome's story, like, like, and I
It
don't
was
think she was
funny.
kidding. But
You
listen,
are?
Rome did good. Rome did good. I think I think the story was good. I like, you know,
Yes.
I think he did play on emotions pretty well. Um, I I'm glad that this did not screw over Saul. I am glad. I was
Yeah.
nervous for a split second, but I really like Saul. I didn't want to see Saul go out in this way. And so
I
yeah.
don't think it would have made sense, especially because of what we'd seen like prior, that Sol was the one that went to Kyle and was like, just so you know, this is what Rome's saying, like, this is how Rome is.
Right.
I really didn't see it happening, but obviously again, we only see certain parts of the show.
Saul was just like, just another Tuesday. He's like, he
Yeah.
wasn't even bothered. Yeah.
It's like, this is my current 9 to 5. Like,
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
go.
Saul's patience with the whole situation, like, it's fantastic. I feel like I've learned a lot from Saul just watching him navigate this relationship throughout the past couple of episodes. But it's been, you know, Saul's really cool. Also, I'm at the Survivor event. I met he came up, introduced himself. He's like, "Hi, I'm Saul." I was like, "I know." A lot of them did that actually. A lot of them were like, "Hi, I'm so and so," and I was like, "Yeah." Like, yeah. But it was very, very nice. So, and no, I haven't seen Minnow, the clip of Caroline's facial expressions. Was it synced with the music in the episode, or was it a fan edit that someone synced?
It's
Let me
got to be
know.
a fan edit. Yeah.
I love that. I think that's great. But Saul is awesome. And basically, what this whole segment is Rome saying, "Here's the plan. I'm doing great. Everyone's in on the plan," which became Saul, right? Like his plan was Saul.
Rome's plan. Yeah.
But then we see everyone else being like, "It's Rome."
Yeah, Genevieve, Sam, and Teeny, their confessionals out. Like, it was that whole thing of like, it cuts to Rome, cuts to Genevieve, goes back to Rome, cuts to Sam, goes back, cuts to Teeny. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I think
it was fun.
That's where I kind of realized, okay, the editors aren't playing with us. I think this is Rome's time.
Yeah.
It felt different than the usual, who's it gonna be type of thing.
Well, it was even the music.
Yeah.
Because they had that kind of jovial, like, music that it's like, we're about to go to tribal and you've put this music on. Like, it was almost that thing of like, we're in on the joke. Like, we're in on what's going on.
We're included in the plan.
Yes.
You know, like that's what it kind of felt like. Minnow, no worries at all. Please, if you find it, if you're on Instagram, please DM it to me because I'm so curious about it because it sounds funny.
Yes.
Also, if you have that photo of the two of us, I'd love to include it. If you're comfortable with it, I'd love to include it in one of our Tribe Has Posted things. It was so nice to meet you. Anyway, so, you know, we all go to Tribal Council and you know what? It's so nice seeing a Tribal Council with so many people.
Yes.
I love when we get to this point.
I love a big tribal. It's just fun because there is so many dynamics that could be at play. And with that many people, it make like smaller tribals, obviously there is a lot less room to hide and play with. Like a tribe this big, like all it takes is for one person to go off the wall. And we see what happens so many times in like Edge of Extinction, and it was just such a live tribal, and everyone's going here. This is the potential it has, and I think this cast could do that because I think this cast is just cracked.
And I think it helps
In the best
that
way.
it felt to me like I think the journeys really meant something in terms of the relationships that were built on them. I mean, we get the like they're gonna play the amulets. Like it's very clear to us and everyone there. Like the amulets are gonna get played. They're just gonna get flushed, and I agree with Rome. Like I think Rome described it really well. Like why the amulets are not my favorite advantage.
I actually disagreed with Rome, and not just because I would disagree. So I want to give the amulet some defense here,
Yeah.
because Rome said it in there. Like, everyone was like, "Oh, but it's just such an obvious advantage." They had the option not to tell people. So, like, no, but it is true. Like, they had the option to sit there and not tell their tribe.
Wait. That means all three of them would have had to
Yeah.
lie with the same lie
Yeah.
to their tribes and trust that the other two were telling the same lie.
Yeah.
I think that's a lot to ask from people you go on a probably like 2-hour journey with. Might have been like 3. I don't know.
Could have preferred. But I think it's just, but that thing, like, for me, it's like there is a way where people could, like, if people agreed not to. I'm just playing devil's advocate in this instance. That for me, I think the amulets could have had. I still think the amulets, in a way, can work. I think it's just fine tuning and figuring it out, because I think in this new era, we have really seen this thing of, like, tribe. Like, there really has been at times a lack of fluidity of trying to work with people. I think last season did a really good job at breaking the mold. I do think we're seeing it here, that breaking of the mold. I just hope that there can be other ways that can be done. And I do think the amulets, if done correctly, could do that.
What do you think of Eleanor's idea that it's split between 2 people instead of 3?
Yeah,
I
think
like it.
I think 2 people could work easily.
Okay. Perfect. Oh, and Minnow, thank you. Anyway, so I feel very happy for Rome here. You know, I know that he is a host in his day-to-day life. This is something that I would really like to do as well. Like, this feels like such a. Is Rome the only person to do this? I think so.
Yeah,
He's got.
Rome's Rome's the only person to. And I just want to touch on, there were people that found, like, this was actually a very Marmite moment. Like, some people loved it, some people absolutely despised it. Chrissy Hoffbeck. And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't see the harm in it. I thought it was a really fun thing to do. Like, yes, they're talking about, like, an advantage and stuff, which I've openly said, like, did I slightly agree with Rome? Yes. But I do think this was actually, like, quite a fun moment, and I think it worked because of Rome's personality. Like, I think it was good. I enjoyed it.
Really? Wait, did you see this message? Yule said that Jeff offered like this type of thing for Yule to sit.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Wow, that's interesting. I mean, yeah.
Yule, rumored to now replace Jeff when he retires. I'd love that, actually. I'd love to see Yule host Survivor. I just like Yule. Sorry.
I actually think that's a really good idea. We need to do a video one day of sorry, Jeff, not to say you're coming to an end, but it is fun to think about. Like, when you think about, like, who could possibly replace Jeff, and then, well, we have, like, JLP, and anyway, yeah, Eleanor, yes. So anyway, wasn't gonna show it, Ollie, but yeah,
I was. Okay.
Anyway, so this was a lovely moment, and it was also kind of funny that everyone was looking. I think you meant, like, everyone was looking at Rome, being like, "Oh, your name's about."
Oh, bless him. Well, yeah, but I think it was like Sam at one point, or it was Sam or Sierra, someone, because they panned to, like, Sam, Sierra, and Andy, and they were like, "Oh, good for him." And I agree. I think if, like,
yes,
this was his time. Like, good for him.
Yeah, well, I mean, that this is something you can't even imagine having on your bucket list, because you never think that you're gonna sit in Jeff's place and get to see what it's like from that perspective. So yeah, that's great. Maybe Jeff was auditioning him a little bit. Could be. Andy. Excuse me.
When did he? Like, I knew he was bi, but when did he become bilingual? That was my question. Like, that was good, Ollie. Well done. It just came out like these voting confessionals were so funny. Like even Sam's one, like Rome wasn't built in a day. Your game was destroyed. Like the way, and actually there was a fun fact somewhere I'd seen on Twitter that something to do with Rome, the city. There was something. Wait, what?
Minnow.
Have you guys probably already heard this? But the German Rome Empire overthrew Rome. Oh my God!
There are layers of things that we cannot even fathom.
Because my other layer that we can discuss now is something about when Rome, like the empire, fell. It was 47-6 BC or something. Yeah. And Rome fell in 47-6. Season 47, episode 6. Yes. Yes.
The show is scripted. The show is scripted. It is fake. They live in a hotel and they eat at restaurants. It's confirmed.
Confirmed. But yes, there was so many layers to this photo. Like, it was great.
That is wild. Sorry, I can't get over that. That is wild. Anyway, okay, this was more significant than I actually gave it credit for in the moment. Yep. So that's amazing. Anyway, don't say that when Kelly. Oh yeah. Anyway, so they play the amulet. They play it on Teeny. Which I wonder if there was like a discussion about like how it got to Teeny.
Yeah, but do you know what? I had this when I was, because I actually did watch this a second time. Do you know what I thought would have been absolutely hilarious? They play the amulets on Teeny just because Rome plays his shot in the dark and it works. Andy then goes home and he had the amulet that he could have been used on him. I think that would have been so funny.
Oh, that is the chances of that happening are slim, but possible, and that would have been cool. But also, you're right. Eleanor, you're right. Teeny was the one who lost the vote, so that makes sense. That they'd be like, all right, we're just the amulet. Teeny gave it to us. We're gonna play it on Teeny. Teeny lost the vote,
but she.
I mean, yes, Teeny made it past that tribal council, but I do think if I was one of the two of them, I would have been like, Teeny, you gave up your vote.
Right. Sorry. Yeah, no, because my brain was sat there being like, we saw a confessional of her voting for Rome. Sorry, that was why my brain went.
Yeah. It was the Keyshawn vote, I think. Anyway, so they play it. Yeah. There goes that advantage, and we see that Rome goes home and is blindsided.
Sad.
Y'all, I really like Rome this season. I would really like to see Rome come back. I think he's a good candidate for 50 because he'll have that storyline of being just close enough to the merge. And I feel like he can learn from how he played this time around. I feel like he can change up his game a little bit if he were to come back. Yeah, Eleanor, that the torch snuffer it's a good one.
It's fire. Yeah, we all know I've been very like hit or miss with Rome. Like there've been times I've been like, no, he is really funny. There have been times where I've been like, I will strangle the man. But I do think he would, like, not in a bad way, in a nice way. Like, not really. I wouldn't really. But I think he has been a character no matter what. And it's like, when you think of 47 now, he is going to be someone that you think about and remember. And I do appreciate the fact that he did go into the season wanting to play hard and, like, wanting to not... he wasn't afraid. Like, he did come in very fearless. So I can appreciate that from him.
Yeah.
Did I enjoy him every single episode? No.
And I have to say,
But-
I don't enjoy how he treated Saul in that
Yes.
episode. You know, like I think everyone knows what episode it was. So like that, I feel like okay. But it paid off, and I do think, you know, Rome did apologize in the episode too, so that's
Yes.
something. But
Apologize.
Eleanor, anyway. So so I, you know, now we're on to the merge, and I think
Yes.
like what a way to end the pre-merge of this season, which has
Yes.
been incredible.
It's been great. I would say this has been one of the stronger pre-merges we've seen in a while.
Yes, I agree. I think this surpassed 45 for my favorite pre-merge new era.
Fair.
And because there were no quits, obviously, so that's something. But also, they were eventful tribals most of the time.
Yes, very true. Well, I mentioned this to you before the live stream that one of the episodes actually got the highest rated, like it's been the highest rated episode since the finale of Winners at War. So one of the pre-merge episodes is currently, for the new era, the most liked or like highest rated, whatever it's called.
Do we see an Emmy in the future for this season? Let's see how it ends. But you know, I think 45 was the one to get an Emmy, so
Can't remember.
it was something. Oh, I think it was 44. Minnow, I need your help here.
When we're not sure, we go to Minnow.
yeah. Sorry
know,
to put you on the spot. But while we are figuring that out, why don't we move on? Thank you, Minnow. Why don't we move on to our next segment, which is The Tribe Has Posted. Ollie, walk us through.
Yeah, so as we know, we also do the Tribe Has Posted, where I go on an absolute social media rampage and look at everyone's social medias because I want to. So these are a couple of things that we've seen from Rome. I will always give Rome his flowers on social media. He will always be posting, and I suppose he will probably be posting after this, and I absolutely appreciate it. I feel like he was very gracious in his vote off, and again, just one last time, wanted to give him his flowers. And you can tell how sitting on Jeff's seat really meant to him. Like that would, because that was the only tweet he put out, and then his vote out. There was another Insta story, and it was regarding Jeff's seat. So yeah, he that was his moment. He was like, "I'm fulfilled."
Oh, yes. Okay. No win. Okay. Yeah. Which one was nominated? Thanks, Minnow. And yes, we love the professional.
We try.
We try. So yeah, this was nice to include. I'm very happy he got to have that moment because I think it sweetened the getting voted out. You know, I think it was like a spoonful of sugar. You know, so
very, very true.
Very nice. Next up.
We have people's reactions to Rome going. Obviously, Sam, was it the most obvious voting confessional pun? Yes. Did it need to be said? Also, yes. And we also had 2 tweets, one from Sol. This was the day after, saying good morning. And the other one was Asia. So the 12 hours was literally like when I woke up. So obviously I'm normally 12 hours behind the live episode. Do we think that Asia was happy? Yeah. Do we think she's still slightly bitter? Probably. Because I said this actually on the last episode that we haven't really seen the pre-jury interacting as much. Like, do you remember kind of season 46? We saw people like Jem and Mariah and Jelensky, Jess, like they were all really active on like social media, like giving each other praise and stuff, like giving each other's flowers regardless. We have not seen that this season. So clearly there's no love lost.
And I think, I think that these rival the posts that Rome posted the day after Asia was voted out. The Good Morning Rob has a podcast, or what was it? Something like that.
Yeah.
So like
Good morning. Good morning, Rob has like our app community.
Oh yeah. So I think Saul especially knew what he was doing here. And you know what?
Yeah.
I get it. We have 2023. Okay, so I think that was 44. Thank you, Minnow.
Probably.
Next up.
Next up, we have a couple of tweets from Sierra, because one person that is also very active on social media is Sierra. So the other one is just showing how much Teeny and her really enjoyed the feast. And the other one was this. The reason I wanted to point this out is because everyone was commenting on Sue's top during the immunity challenge. I saw the top. I thought it was a fabulous top. I would have sparked that. It's actually Sierra's top, because that is a picture of Sierra. So if you go back and look at the immunity challenge, you will see Sue in this top. And it's actually Sierra's. And I just want to say, Sierra, it's an absolute spark. Why have I only just seen this top? I want this top.
Ooh, I didn't actually even notice the outfit during the challenge. Well, it got muddy very quick. So
it got muddy very quick. Part of me sat there like, you just let that get muddy.
Oh, 43 for telenovela. Okay, interesting. Where has this outfit been? Wait, that was Sierra? It doesn't match Gata.
I don't know.
True. Maybe she got swapped. Maybe Sierra was originally.
Maybe she was originally on Lavu, and then something happened where she then went to Gata. Ooh. We don't know.
No, we have no idea. That's what makes it so fun. And then we have
just a couple of things. So I saw this from Rachel like a couple of hours ago. Thought it was absolutely hilarious. Gabe giving us a bit of tea, saying he would have he feel like he would have dominated this challenge.
Did he practice that?
Practice it, yeah.
Oh.
And then this is Rome again from actually today. Shout out Rob's fact checker for this photo in his Insta story. But Rome has now had the most confessionals from a pre-merger.
You know what? I believe it.
Yep.
I absolutely believe it. All right. Do you want to play the game where we ask our live viewers the poll questions and see what they would say?
Let's get the poll questions up now. So if you don't follow us on X, go follow us. Because after the episode, we will post some polls for Got Something For Ya, and it's your chance to kind of have your voice heard as well. So the first poll, I need to get them up, sorry. We post 3 polls normally. I know, I'm so sorry.
I like how you're trying to stall too.
So the first poll question was, where would you have checked for the advantage? So your options are the ocean, the water well, the shelter, or not looking can't be asked.
This surprises me. I think some people are lying to this.
I agree.
Wait, should we show it or
I think we
yeah.
I mean, we'll show this one and I'll let people know. 48% said the ocean. I know that half of you are lying because I don't think you would have. I am actually surprised at how low not looking can't be asked is, because I remember sometimes the viewer's like, no, I can't be asked to do all that.
See, so no, that feels right to me. Like I do feel like if there's an advantage and you are on the island, I think you're going after it. But to me, my first instinct would be go to where you think an idol would be. So like go to between the shelter and the water well, that path, and look through the forest. So
agreed. Thank you, Eleanor, for being honest as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Of these options, I'd have gone to the shelter. Thank you.
Yeah, right. So I think I think I know what some people are doing. What's next, Ollie?
Yeah. So the next question is, I've lost it again. There we go.
Were the amulets a good advantage?
Yes. Were the amulets a good advantage? So the options were yes, no, or maybe if played right. So
I know my
yes, no,
answer.
or maybe. What did you put?
I'm with Minnow here. Minnow, if this is about the same one, I'm with Minnow. I don't like it. It's
Wow.
pointless.
Eleanor agrees with the majority of maybe if played right. So 61% did think maybe on this one. So people have the same thing as me.
I mean,
if it's done right.
Look, I'm sure we will see a version of it that plays out exactly how production wants it to play out. But in my opinion, I just think that production is looking for a reason for players to target other players.
Mm.
You know, like when are three people from three different tribes going to agree on a name to save to get someone else out?
I think it completely depends on each person and where they are in the tribe. Because imagine if you had, so with this, imagine you had, say, take Teeny and replace it with Soul. Or even
Okay.
someone like Rome.
Okay.
Like, they're going to sit there and be like, I want the amulets used on me. And I think, imagine if Soul was in Teeny's position and Rome's there like, oh no, can we use it on me? I'd really like it to be used on me. That's where things could have got like more spicy with this as well.
Oh, I see that, but oh yeah, I guess I didn't really think about it if it's like the person, if it's one of the three people playing it on themselves. But I don't think that would have panned out. Like in this instance. Which one? Hold on.
To answer Eleanor's question, I believe it was 42.
45.
Oh,
Austin
there was
and
yeah,
the
but there was
sandwich.
also 40. Oh, maybe the amulets. Wait, what am I thinking of for high? What am I thinking of for
I
high
don't remember
Drea and
42.
I'm thinking of something for them. But yeah, we'll go for 45 then.
Thank you.
We'll go for 45.
Anyway.
Yeah, Lindsay, Drea, and High. I know that they had
Oh.
something.
All right, thanks, Minnow.
And the last question or the last poll?
Oh, I love this one. Yes.
Yes.
Should Rome be the next On Fire guest host?
Should Rome be the next On Fire guest host? So your options are yes, absolutely. Maybe someone else, Survivor Now podcaster, or host Survivor instead. Those are the options.
Minnow made it very clear.
Minos made it very clear. I don't want him to be the next On Fire guest host. That's fair enough. I'm just waiting to see if that.
Okay.
Yeah, go on, show it.
Yeah. Here we go. The majority of the votes says someone else maybe. I'm surprised Survivor Now podcaster didn't. Rome.
I know.
I hope you'll join our show at some point. Like come be a guest host on Got Something For You. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, happy to have you.
And yeah, I think first of all, I actually think you'd do a really good job as the On Fire guest host. I just think that On Fire prioritizes bringing people on who make it closer to the end.
Yeah.
And I think that, yeah. I think, especially, with On Fire, there is definitely like this. They do go very in depth with looking at strategic and very social elements, and you want someone that you would hope people can sit there and not be looked at in a certain way. And I think, unfortunately, with Roman, again, I'm very much a person that thinks placement doesn't define your worth as a player. But I do think you've got some toxic fans who would. So I understand why he may not be the next On Fire guest. Right.
But I think he would do a good job.
Yeah. He speaks professionally, so like I think it's right in his skill sets. I also just think like they're gonna want someone to talk about the last portion of the game, like as they go through the season, they're gonna want someone to talk to the experience of the player being farther along in the game.
Yes.
So like,
it makes sense.
It makes sense. But yeah, and it's a perception thing. So anyway, so that's it, right, Ollie?
Yep, that's it.
Oh,
that's all the poll.
I love the polls. Make sure, again, like Ollie said, these polls go up on X, and that's how you can vote on them if you would like to join in and let your voice be heard. However, we always give you room to leave your opinion in our live chat as well. I want to thank you all so much again for this incredible live chat. I know, Minnow, our Saturdays just end after this. We just that's what happens. Ollie literally goes to bed. And then so here's the deal, everyone. Neither myself nor Ollie will be here next week, but you have Phil who's going to be here, and we have a very special guest host as well. So that's going to be very exciting.
Yes.
We have another Survivor Now podcaster joining. So Survivor Now, here is what you can expect. We have our Patreon, of course. We remind you all the time, if you'd like to join and support our channel, there's a link in
do it
below. I hope. I think there is. We also have our merch, which I hear the sweatshirts are very, very comfortable, which is amazing. We're also on X, and we are on Instagram. And don't forget to like and subscribe and listen to us on Spotify. I need to memorize the order of these slides, but that is got something for you for today. Again, seriously, thank you all so much for joining. This has been such an amazing chat, and I hope you all have a great week, and we'll, got something for you. We'll be back next week to talk about episode 7 of Survivor 47. Have a